Back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, shifting focus to the Red Sea crisis causing disruptions across the globe when it comes to trade. Global shipping companies consistently advising customers to prepare for the crisis to stretch into the second half of the year. Therefore, we at ET Now decided to take stock of how the disruptions are impacting our sectors from textiles to pharma and agrochem. Somit is standing by with that analysis. Somit?
Well, if you see, the Red Sea issue started because the Iran-backed Yemeni group started attacking commercial ships passing through the Red Sea. Now, hence, shipping companies are now choosing the longer route, that is from the Cape of Good Hope instead of the Suez Canal. Now, because of this, if you see, the shipping rates have actually increased. Now, from Asia to Europe or US, the shipping rates have nearly increased 5 times. Now, so far, the impact on Indian companies of this in the third quarter has been marginal, but all of them have clearly mentioned that if the issue persists, then the impact could start increasing going forward. So here's a list of the companies that could actually get impacted because of this Red Sea issue. Now, when it comes to the textile space, it's SP Apparels, which has a 70% exposure to EU, so that company could get impacted. KPR Mills has an exposure of close to 25%. Then there are many other textile exporters like Indocount, Wellspun, Trident, Gokal Das. These all companies could get impacted because of the same. When it comes to the steel sector, JSW Steel is one of the key exporters to EU, and hence that company could also get impacted. When it comes to the plastic and piping industry, around 20% of the CPVC is imported from the European Union market, and hence this could adversely impact Astral and Supreme Industries going forward. When it comes to capital good companies, there are a host of companies which are exporters to the European Union like Cummins India, Siemens India, ABB India, Hitachi India and KEA Industries. So keep an eye out for all these capital goods companies. When it comes to agrochemical companies, export exposure to the EU has, as a percentage of revenue, has been higher for companies like Sharda Cropchem, which gets nearly 54% of its revenue from exporting to the European Union market. Then there is UPL, which has nearly 14% of the revenue, and then there is PI Industries, which has nearly 9% of its revenue exposure to the EU market. When it comes to the auto and auto ancillary space, now this space gets impacted the most because all of these companies have some or the other exposure when it comes to the European Union market, like Motherson Sumi has an exposure of nearly 60%, Balkrishna Industry has an exposure of nearly 50%, Rolex Ring also has an exposure of nearly 50%, then there is CI Automotive, which has an exposure of 30%, Endurance Tech, Sona BLW have an exposure of anywhere between 20 to 22%, followed by Bharat Forge, RK Forgings, Uno Minda and Jane Axle, which have an exposure anywhere between 13 to 15%. When it comes to pharma companies, which the list of companies which have a high exposure to the European Union market are Marksans Pharma, 41% of their revenue. Then there is Divi's Lab with 39% of their revenue. Aurobindo Pharma gets nearly 26% of their revenue, followed by Granules India, which also gets nearly 23% of its revenue from the European Union market. And lastly, when it comes to the chemical companies, names like Atul, SRF, Ami Organics, Navin Fluorine, Alkyl Amines are key exporters to the European Union market. So keep an eye out for all these companies and all these sectors in trade, because if the Red Sea issue persists, then the impact on their cost side could start increasing going forward.